Hi all, it's Sarah Kuhn here, and today I will be discussing Henry Jenkins's Convergence Culture, Where Old and New Media Collide. I really enjoyed this book. I think that it's a good book for you if you're interested in pop culture and how that affects us as consumers. And first I'm going to look at his introduction. According to Jenkins, this book is about the relationship between three concepts: media convergence, participatory culture, and collective intelligence. And Jenkins refers to convergence as the flow of content across multiple media platforms, the cooperation between multiple media industries, and the migratory behavior of media audiences who will go almost anywhere in search of the kinds of entertainment experiences they want. In convergence culture, the term convergence describes technological industries and industrial culture and social changes. And Jenkins offers, different examples of these from our pop culture. The term participatory culture, as Jenkins defines it, contrasts with older notions of passive media spectatorship. Jenkins helps his readers picture participatory culture by describing how different individuals have different roles in creating media and how those roles have become intertwined with each other. For example, rather than picturing media producers and consumers as having separate roles, today we might now consider them as both participants because they interact with each other in order to follow a new set of rules that we don't fully understand yet. But Jenkins says that these participants aren't all created equal. Corporations still exert greater power than any one consumer. Also, some consumers are better at participating in this emerging culture than others. Another important point Jenkins makes is that consumption has become a collective process. This is what he means by collective intelligence. He states that none of us can know everything. Each of us knows something, and we can put the pieces together if we pool our resources and combine our skills. Collective intelligence can be seen as an alternative source of media power. We are learning how to use that power through our day-to-day interactions within convergence culture. So that sort of sets the tone for the rest of the book. And in chapter 1, chapter 1 is called Spoiling Survivor, the Anatomy of a Knowledge Community. So here we're sort of discussing how the show Survivor became so popular. And in this chapter, Jenkins explains how it was so successful because it enticed viewers to want to participate in the events it displayed. He states that Survivor is television for the internet age, designed to be discussed, dissected, debated, predicted, and critiqued. It was one of the highest rating shows for exactly this reason. And here we see how the term collective intelligence is put into play because of how the show closely guarded the secret of who will be in the final four, who will get kicked off the tribe, and who will become the sole survivor and win $1 million. So it was a pretty big deal. And the most hardcore fans of Survivor were known as the spoilers. They would go to extraordinary lengths to distribute the answers of who's going to go and who's going to win. And Jenkins discusses how spoiling became a form of collective intelligence because everyone pooled their information on the internet to find out the answers to the show. And that's pretty much chapter 1. Chapter 2 is called Buying into American Idol, How We Are Being Sold on Reality Television. And here Jenkins discusses, more of how shows like Survivor and American Idol turned out to be the first killer application of media convergence because of their two interactive qualities, or just their interactive qualities in general. But prior to this, critics argued that most Americans just wanted to sit back and watch TV rather than interact with it. But the success of reality TV today is forcing media industries to rethink this assumption. And Another issue that Jenkins discusses in this chapter is he talks about how the notion of gossip has changed a bit because of the media and the internet. First, he explores how gossip about these shows fuels convergence, but he also gives us a bit of information about gossip in general, and it's also often dismissed as worthless and idle chatter, but now, and this is mostly a female thing, according to the stereotype, but now theorists have argued that gossip allows women to share their experience, expertise, and reinforce social norms, and currently that is being applied a lot to how people interact with each other on the internet. And now that cyberspace has broadened our world of social interactions, we are able to discuss or gossip about reality television, which provides consumers with a steady stream of ethical dramas as contestants are forced to make choices about whom to trust and what limits to set on their own behavior. And so that's chapter 2, and that was a good read. And now chapter 3 is called Searching for the Origami Unicorn, the Matrix and Transmedia Storytelling. And here we learn a bit about the Matrix and what made that movie so popular. And Jenkins explores people's reactions to the concepts in the movie. And I know that many of you have seen this movie, and so you'll recognize that two of the big concepts of this movie is manufactured reality and machine-controlled worlds. And in this chapter, Jenkins discusses how, people have reacted to this, like the comic book writer Peter Bagge. He used his comics to sort of express how he felt like about movies like that. And he contrasts between those who understand concepts in the Matrix and those who don't with, many of his comic strips. And we get to see a little bit of that throughout the chapter. But Jenkins says that prior to the Matrix, no film franchise has ever made such demands on its consumers. The Matrix takes viewers into a world where the difference between reality and illusion is constantly blurred. The bodies of humans are grown by machines and then kept in a kind of sleep where they are in the Matrix, which is this world of illusions. That's what Jenkins calls it. As the people experience this fake world, their bodies are used to power the machines. So it was pretty interesting to a lot of people when they found this, really new and exciting. And Jenkins says, movies like this are entertainment for the age of media convergence, because they integrate multiple texts to create a narrative so large that it cannot be contained within a single medium. And in this chapter, Jenkins also describes the Matrix phenomenon as transmedia storytelling. And when I say phenomenon, I mean Matrix was quite a phenomenon because it broke all the box office records for R-rated films and made $134 million, and that's quite a bit for one movie. But, fans would, after seeing this, fans would race to their homes and get on the internet to find every detail about it and, discuss it on discussion forums. And Jenkins has something to say about this. He says that the ideal form of transmedia storytelling is where each medium does what it does best, so that every story might be introduced in a film, expanded upon through television, novels, and comics. And I thought that was a pretty good way of talking about that kind of thing. Now, here in Chapter 4, Quentin Tarantino's Star Wars, grassroots creativity meets the media industry. And Jenkins explains the Star Wars hype, and that's pretty interesting, I think, if you're interested in Star Wars. And then there's also Chapter 5, Why Heather Can Write, Media Literacy and the Harry Potter Wars. And here it's basically just he goes from talking about the pop culture movies, and he explains, why people get so crazy about movies and why hardcore fans just need more than just the movie. They need to be involved, and they demand to have the right of full participation. And it's interesting to explore how people can get so caught up in things that the media sort of just gives us in pop culture and whatnot. So and I enjoyed this book. And chapter 6, he discusses politics in it too, like what people do in the media to get their ideas about politics across. And it was just a really good read. And if you're interested in pop culture and how messages are conveyed via the media and the internet, and how they get us to sort of buy all of that stuff, then I recommend you read this book. All right, thank you.